Welcome in, everybody, to another edition of Gone Racing, and we are not in the Dude Wipe studio at the South Point Hotel.
The fabulous Dude Wipe studio.
Fabulous Dude Wipe studio. Jeff Motley, Brendan Gaughan, and we're out here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where it is the South Point 400 weekend. We're sitting here in the South Point display out in the fan engagement area. Some people call it a Midway. Brendan, we don't do our shows on location very often. This is pretty cool this week.
We are often on location, you or I, but the show is not on location. But, Jeff, we're laughing.
Well, you don't have a beach in the background this time.
No, but we have your old office in the background.
Yeah, my old
we got
office
that
over there. Yeah,
we got the old stomping grounds over here. They're building right now. You got the South Point studio. The South Point Midway booth. You got the big booth here. You got the Budweiser trailer right there. You got the Clydesdales.
I was going to say the horses will be here soon. Don't look right now. There are no horses yet. We're recording this show on Thursday for our Sirius XM listeners that'll be listening on the tape, I think. I think it runs on Fridays. And then again on Sunday on Sirius XM. So if you're at the racetrack Sunday, don't come out here looking for us because we won't be sitting here doing the show on Sunday.
It'll be a little busy here. As a matter of fact, I think it said Ryan Blaney, 10:15. If you look at the back here, they got a scroll of
they got some driver appearances and things like that. It's just going to be a great weekend out here. But, Brendan, before we get to the great weekend we got here in Las Vegas, we do need to wrap up last week at the Roval. All right, first off, the winner was very predictable.
Wow.
The way the race ended up was not exactly predictable, other than the fact that of the 8 drivers that made the playoffs, 7 made it last year. No upsets.
Okay, but you got to look. You know, I make fun of Marcus Smith all the time about the Roval, right? I hate that word. But Ben Kennedy, all the people that do the scheduling, Marcus Smith, what they did at Charlotte, what a way. I know a lot of people right now are talking about no playoffs in the future, back to full point seasons, blah, blah. Okay, I get that but the drama that you gave, and this is what we talk about betting. Sorry about my voice, folks. I've been sick all week. I'm feeling better now, but you're going to get the.
And we're sitting closer than we've ever sat on a show before.
I'll sneeze on you a couple times.
That's just great.
But you look at the action that was drawn. We talk about this, that betting can add this every week, but it doesn't make the drivers act the way they do. Ross Chastain, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, the strategy called a pit late by Paul Wolfe. I mean, I was watching that race going, what in the hell is Paul Wolfe thinking? And then Denny not knowing, and I mean, oh my God, the end of that race was amazing. And Shane Van Gisbergen, again, I only think he let people stay as close as he did early just to make it exciting.
Because it wasn't close at the end at all.
But, I mean, there was some time that Tyler Reddick kept up with him and Kyle Larson and doing all these things. In the end, Shane just was toying with them.
The best road racer in NASCAR history already, and it's only his second year. It's really not. It's his first full year in the country.
Lest we forget, he finished top 10 in the last oval a couple weeks ago at Kansas, no less, which we're talking about Vegas coming up. SVG, it is an art form what he's done, and I am so excited to watch him do what he does.
Well, let's take a quick look at his numbers. His numbers did not win anything for anybody. He was a minus 110 to win, which is the first time I think you and I had ever seen that. Minus 400 for a top 3, and Chevy was minus 310 to win. Shane was driving a Chevy, so not much to go on there.
No.
But I tell you, we look at our top 10. Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell had really strong runs, and I mean, those two guys would have been battling for this win if in any other year except for this one.
No, I mean, look, the chalk was there. Kyle, Christopher Bell, we talked about him all day. Tyler Reddick was there early, faded later. But really, those two guys, hell of a race, just nothing for what SVG is. And the rest of the top 10, some interesting names.
Chris Buescher continues to prove that he is a terrific road course racer.
What is it now? I think it's like 9 out of the last 10 or 10 out of the last 10 now, all top 10s. Chris Buescher has become a road racer.
Michael McDowell with a top 5. Ryan Preece. We don't really think him as a road racer, and I thought he was starting to fade.
We both did.
Great run for Brian Preece. Even won his group. We'll get to that here in just a few minutes. Daniel Suarez, another solid run. He's only got 4 races left with Trackhouse Racing, so he's trying to make the most of it. Chase Elliott, we probably expected Chase to do a little better.
Chase was doing well. He had a strategy move. It didn't work out for him, but Chase was fast.
And Allmendinger getting a good top 10. And Tyler Reddick had to do the same thing. Tried to do a strategy run. He knew he had to win to have any chance. So top 10 there. So a few surprises, a few not so surprises in the top 10. Take a quick look at our group winners last week. Kyle Larson won Group A with his second place finish. He was plus 250.
Because it didn't have SVG, it was 250. That was
no SVG, and Christopher Bell was not in the group.
Yep.
So we didn't have either one of those guys in the group. So Kyle Larson with his second place. Group B, Chris Buescher, plus 260. His fourth place finish brought him home there.
Love it.
You know, we were kind of high on Chase Briscoe in that group. But I tell you, Buescher might become this guy I don't ever really want to bet against in a group on a road course anymore. Group C, Michael McDowell had to finish fifth in order to win Group C, although he was the only guy in Group C who finished in the top 10. So plus 260 on that. Group D, we talked about Ryan Preece, plus 250. You get a sixth-place finish in Group D.
I had Joey as a lock there, and Joey just did not perform, did not do what we were expecting him to do. I was pretty bummed about that too.
Yeah,
Joey
I think we were all probably surprised by that.
He made that run in the first stage, but I think what they did, they went into that mode of they were just watching Ross Chastain.
Right, and Joey said, I want it all.
Yeah.
I mean, he said on the radio, I want all the information. I need to know what I need to do. Where's he? Where am I? Group E, at least I got one group right. Bubba Wallace, it was 15th, but it was enough to come home in Group E. And then Group F, we've seen some guys top 10s win Group F.
Not this week.
Cole Custer, 22nd, a plus 225 to win Group F. And, Brendan, that brings us to our 8 guys that made the playoffs. Hamlin, Blaney, Larson, Byron, Bell, Elliott, Briscoe, Logano. There's no surprises in there.
But you talk about this all season long, about playoff points, about bonus points, about all those things. Joey Logano is starting this round, minus 24 points. We've been saying when guys were minus 20 the last couple rounds that they were in a must-win situation. 24 points to start the round. That's a big hole he's got to dig out of.
I agree it's a big hole, but when you have Talladega.
Well, how about the 3 races?
And how about the 3 tracks we're going to? Now, Martinsville.
Yeah, but Joey's good at Martinsville.
He's good, but Joey, he's tied with Jimmy Johnson for most wins all time in Las Vegas.
Yep.
We know when Joey gets on Talladega, Daytona, those type racetracks, look out. I think one thing that will be a little interesting now is he and Blaney both are having to fight for the Final 4. So I don't know that the teammate
at Talladega, it may.
At Talladega? I mean, I think that could be a little bit interesting. But again, my point is, we all know that at Talladega, those points can make if you were to
disappear in a hurry and they can gain in a hurry.
Well, but if that big accident were to happen in the first stage, and you're Larson or Blaney or Hamlin or Byron, and you miss out on stage points from the very beginning.
Look, and here's the other deal. If you look at Denny Hamlin, who's only got an 8-point lead now to start this round.
Well,
I apologize, guys.
And I think when you go into the round of 8 that you're not going to have a huge lead.
But it's 8 points, and he's got Talladega looming. All these guys have Talladega looming on them. And so they're looking at Vegas and Martinsville going, man, every single one of these guys wants to come out of Vegas with a solid finish so that they have that fudge factor for Talladega.
Well, and I think when you look at Las Vegas, there's a bunch of guys here. Larson has been really good here. Byron has been really good here. We've already documented how good Logano's been here. And one thing that you and I like to point to is the success that Martin Truex Jr. has had on racetracks. And he's had a lot of success here, and Chase Briscoe stepping into that role. So there's a lot of these guys that are in this point. And Christopher Bell's run well here.
And I'll get, when we get to starting about talking about the stats, I'm going to mention, we're going to talk about that Martin Truex stat.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of guys that know this is a great opportunity because you don't really want to have Talladega to leave it to chance. And there's some guys that are going to be more confident.
Just like you didn't want to have the Roval be your chance.
Correct. And I think there's some guys probably who will go to Martinsville feeling more confident than others that are in this group. Well, speaking of the upcoming schedule, we kind of just talked about all of them. This weekend we'll be here in Las Vegas for the South Point 400. Next weekend, it will be Talladega, the biggest, baddest track on the circuit. And then the smallest points race on the circuit. We got Bowman Gray. Don't want to leave them out when it comes to racetracks, but Martinsville, that will be the cutoff race there, and then our championship at Phoenix. So, Brendan, we're going from 1.5 miles to a big old 2.67-mile super speedway to a tiny little paperclip to a mile track. I mean, it's a great way to end this thing.
This round is the microcosm of NASCAR. And if you take the Roval from the last 5 races, you go from a road course to a standard 1.5 miles, which is kind of the stalwart of our sport nowadays, to the monster of all of our tracks to the baby of all of our tracks to a driver's flat track. So NASCAR ends this season on a really cool, span of you have to be an all-around driver for these final 5 races.
Yeah, and you talk about the rumor about is this playoff thing going to go away? I'm with you. Let's keep it. Or I don't care if we have to modify it. But the last thing I want to see is us go to Phoenix and somebody's already clinched the championship.
And here's the thing.
Well, next year it'll be where?
I'm a fan also.
Where's the last Homestead is last
I'm a fan of this sport as much as I was a competitor. And you got to look at this and say, do I like it being one race as a champion? No. But look at what it's done for the excitement of our sport. You don't get the Ross Chastain Hail Melon a couple years ago. You don't get the Ross Chastain just flat out saying, I ain't breaking. Into the final turn at the Roval. You don't get this drama that we've had at even the drama with Matt Kenseth years ago at Martinsville, because this draws that drama. This makes that drama, this playoff format. So as a fan, I love that we don't have I was in a lot of those. Jeff, how many times did we see Jeff Green and Kevin Harvick not even have to race the last 3 races in the Xfinity Series?
Oh, I know. It was crazy. And I am totally with you. And, the one thing we get right now, we get several races within the races.
Yeah, that's
we get lots of them, not just 1 or 2.
That's what we talk about with gambling. Gambling gives us that where you can make a race and a race for television. You can make these exciting. Now, the drivers don't know that they were grouped E racing for a guy. They're just trying for that spot.
Unless they're listening to our show.
But very true, and they should be. But the TV crew knows, and the TV crew can at least talk about it and make that excitement for it.
No, I think you're exactly right. I mean, who knows what they're going to do? I'm sure we're going to probably see some kind of an announcement at Phoenix. I know there's a lot of rumors out there, but we'll see what they come up with. But I know I love the playoff. Okay, we'll be back on Gone Racing in just a few minutes, and we'll start breaking down everything there is about the South Point 400 right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas, the South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now.
Welcome back into Gone Racing. Jeff Motley alongside Brendan Gaughan out here live at Las Vegas Motor Speedway at South Point 400 weekend out here doing our show remotely or on location or however you want to say it.
On location. Hey, and we got to do the homage to, Mr. Musburger, of course. You're looking live.
You're looking live.
At the Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Actually, you're probably not really looking live.
You're looking they're live looking live at us.
In the TV business, they say we're live to tape.
Well, this is live to tape. Yeah. So they're looking live if they
okay. Yeah. We're looking live. Okay, there you go. All right.
You have to be watching the Gone Racin' YouTube channel to see the looking live. You can hear it live, which is not looking, which is hearing. But, yeah, just let's go.
I swear I feel like I'm on a show, episode of the I Love Lucy show right now. But, hey, Brendan, we are here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and everything we're talking about this weekend, South Point 400. We know we got 8 guys that are still going for a chance to win the championship. One of those 8 hoping to win here in Las Vegas to guarantee their spot in the Final Four. One of those guys who you can't talk about Las Vegas Motor Speedway without mentioning his name is Joey Logano. In 24 races here, 14 top 10s and 4 wins. He's tied with Jimmy Johnson, all-time wins ever at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I mean, he's got to be the first guy you look at, right?
And what do we say every year about Joey Logano and Penske in the playoffs?
They just
it's their time.
They take it up a notch.
I mean, look, Rick Hendrick is the king of the sport, right? Joe Gibbs they've been co-kings of the sport, and you don't talk about Penske all year long. Oh, but who have been our last couple champions? Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney,
Joey Logano.
Joey Logano. So Penske and Logano, they kind of have that old Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus magic where, remember how many years do we say, oh, Jimmy and Chad, they're not running good through the summer. Oh, it's not looking good for them. Oh, by the way, when the playoffs start, they're back. So, I mean, Penske, Logano, they know how to do it. He's got 2 bullets left in the chamber, and they know how to make the best out of those runs.
And I think the other guy that's in the playoffs, I mean, look, he hasn't won since May, but if Kyle Larson is going to get off the schneid, this is
his place. But Kyle has been running better again.
He has.
Not
had a chance
winning.
to win last week, and he lost out to, again, I say, the greatest road racer
in the history of our sport.
Seen.
So, I mean, 13 race. Do you realize 8 wins in 8 top 5s in 18 races? That is almost a 50% top 5 run. I mean, that is just unfathomable what Kyle Larson does here. It's 3 wins in the last 9 races. 3 of his wins in the last 9 races.
Well, let's get into our odds to win this week, and we've got 3 favorites at the top: Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, all at plus 450. William Byron, Ryan Blaney at plus 800. Chase Briscoe is 10-1. Chase Elliott is 14-1. Tyler Reddick 16-1. Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, Bubba Wallace, and Alex Bowman are all 25-1. Chris Buescher, Brad Keselowski, Carson Hocevar, and Josh Berry at 40-1. Joey Logano, 25-1?
I'm just pulling up, Jeff. I was going to ask you a question.
Alex Bowman's won here, too, and he's 25-1.
You know, the South Point for 100 winner last year, the guy that was on my City Light Shine bottle, I had a special bottle. Remember, it's still at the hotel?
Yeah, we had it on the
We had him on the set.
a few
Who was on that? Who was on that bottle?
I think it was Joey Logano.
Oh, you mean the guy that is playoff time and knows how to come to Vegas? Yeah, I 25-1 for Joey Logano.
And I know it's not the Pennzoil 400. We like to joke that he's in the company car when it's the Pennzoil 400 in the spring here. But man, 25-1 on Joey Logano seems like a pretty big number to me. And look, his teammate Ryan Blaney, while he hasn't won here, he's always runs well here. Look, Blaney, you know, Ryan Blaney is 5 top 10s last 10 races. Ryan Blaney runs well here. And again, Penske, playoffs, they get it done. I just look at that first page and go, wow, Joey Logano 25-1, even a Tyler Reddick at 16-1, a William Byron plus 800. There are too many names here that I like, but Joey Logano, I might go on a risk and pick a winner this week. Well, that's certainly a big number. Let's take a look at our longer odds here. Austin Cindric and Ty Gibbs are both at 50-1. Eric Jones at 60. Kyle Busch and Ryan Preece are 100-1. A.J. Allmendinger, Daniel Suarez at 200. And Suarez has had some good runs here, by the way.
Very much.
John Hunter Nemechek, Austin Dillon, hometown boy Noah Gragson, Zane Smith, Michael McDowell, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. all at 300-1. Todd Gilliland, Cole Custer 500-1. And as typical, our field bet at 30-1. And there's not many. Riley Herbst, I know, is in the field bet. Not many in the field bet there.
You know, I look at this and I go, I just can't believe we're talking about Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and Kyle Busch is a triple digit. This is a man who still has 5 top 10s in the last 10 races at this racetrack. The problem is it's been 25th, 13th, and 33rd in the last 3.
And, you know, the funny story is, too, that Kyle Busch only has 1 win here. And he was not leading at the 400-mile mark.
No,
it was the 1 year the race
Clint
was
Boyer.
427 miles, and Clint Boyer to this day is still bitter because he was leading after 400. That was a sponsorship deal back in 2009, 16 years ago.
Quit showing our age, Motley.
The only
Quit
time
showing our ages.
Well, that's true, too. So, all right, let's move along here to our top 3s, where Kyle Larson leads the group here at a plus 120, Christopher Bell 140, Denny Hamlin 170, Ryan Blaney at 250, William Byron 260, Joey Logano 275, Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe all at plus 300, Ross Chastain 400, Bubba Wallace 700, Kyle Busch, Chris Buescher 800, Alex Bowman 850, Josh Berry 900, Brad Keselowski and Austin Cindric at 12-1. Ty Gibbs and Carson Hocevar 14-1, and Eric Jones 16-1.
So you can tell this week we're going to have more odds from the South Point because the South Point puts more odds up during Las Vegas Motor Speedway race week. But you can definitely tell the difference between DraftKings and South Point. Joey Logano 25-1 at the South Point to win. Oh, plus 275 at DraftKings.
So I'm a little surprised. I would think Chris would have put the odds a little lower on Joey on the.
Chris also is a guy that a couple weeks in a row had a field bet for the championship,
and he had no drivers in the field.
There was just one
driver in the field.
So look, I don't.
We love you, Chris.
I love you, Chris.
We do. We love you, Chris.
Look, Joey Logano 275 is still a great number. I like that Chase Elliott 300, but what I really like is that Chase Briscoe. Here's the deal: you and I have this theory, right, Jeff? Chase Briscoe at places that Martin Truex was amazing at. Martin Truex, 9 races, 9 top 10s.
That's pretty good.
In the last 9 top 10s. Chase Briscoe this year, 1.5 miles, been spectacular this year. 4 top 5s in those 10 races. So, I mean, look, I look at Chase Briscoe and say, here's a guy been in championship form all year. Here's a guy that I love the analogy to Martin Truex. Boom. Chase Briscoe right there for me.
I do like Chase Briscoe. You know, the other guy in here, and I just see plus 900, okay? Josh Berry won here in the spring.
Well,
now I know that, and we also saw him have a really good run at New Hampshire. And then everything else has been a word we probably can't really say on the air. Maybe SiriusXM can. It's been kind of that kind of season for him after that. But you got to believe he's driving back here to Las Vegas saying, man, this is where it all started for me this year. Might have been where it all ended for him too. But, I mean, this is a chance for Josh Berry to have a solid run.
You know, Josh, he had that abysmal first round, which I mean, that's a section of his life he never wants to talk about again. He was running well at Kansas a couple weeks ago, but ended up crashing out with like 10 to go, 7 to go, whatever. Did run well. You know, he did win. It is Penske. It is the playoffs and all that. But I'm more. I mean, Chase Briscoe was fourth just a couple weeks ago at Kansas. I'm more interested in Chase Briscoe there than I am in the Josh Berry.
Well, I think also, and we'll do the rest of the top three, and then we'll get to something real quick. But the rest of the top three, Ryan Preece and Daniel Suarez are 20-1. Shane Van Gisbergen at 28. A.J. Allmendinger at 30. Michael McDowell and John Hunter Nemechek at 40. Zane Smith, Todd Gilliland, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Noah Gragson, Austin Dillon at 50. Justin Haley, 60. Cole Custer, 100. Riley Herbst, 150-1. Ty Dillon and J.J. Yaley at 200. Catherine Legg coming back to race this week. She's at 250 along with Cody Ware. One thing I kind of want to point out is a plus 900, and I believe a couple of 20-1s. That was the top three finishers in the race here in the spring.
You and I were talking about this off air.
Off air. You said there's no chance we're going to see a similar top three.
The top three in the spring was Josh, Daniel, and Ryan Preece. I just don't see that happening again.
Couldn't one of those three get another top three? They're coming. And look, Daniel runs well here.
Daniel does run well here. Daniel's history has been, you know, he's got 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, and 10 races here. This is a track that has been a decent mile and a half for Daniel, coming off a third and a second. So third in this race last spring and second earlier this year.
What is Daniel doing right now?
He's auditioning for a job.
Exactly.
So,
he is auditioning for a job. So he's got no teammates.
Nope.
Daniel's got no allegiances to anybody.
Nope.
Daniel wants to win races, and Daniel wants a job for next year.
I don't dislike the Daniel Suarez. If you're looking for one, if you go to the last 10 mile and a half races, he's got 2 top 5s. Guess what those 2 were? Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
I just think if there's somebody on page 2 to show an interest in, it's Daniel Suarez.
I know you've been high on Preece a lot, and Preece had a great run last week and ran really well here earlier this year. But I still look at the Preece number. I'm not so big on that, but I am Daniel Suarez. Dinger, you know, Dinger ran well. Dinger in the race earlier this year, he was in the top 10, 8th. But I just,
you know, I have to tell you a Allmendinger story about Las Vegas. It's always made me feel bad. I don't know if I've told it.
It's not of John Wood, Coy Gibbs, and I.
No. It was nothing like that. So we had a test session here many years ago when Dinger was like starting with driving for that Red Bull team.
Yeah.
Like Dinger and maybe either
Scott
Brian
Speed.
Vickers or Scott Speed or one of them. So they brought 2 cars out for testing. Dinger gets up early and is willing to do morning TV with me live out here at the Speedway. I remember Dave Hall was at our Fox affiliate here in Las Vegas. Dave comes out to do the morning show, and Dinger does these interviews at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Been there with you. Yeah.
You know, you've done some of those with me. By 10:30, we started to practice at 9 o'clock. By 10:30, both of Dinger's cars were torn up from the test, and they were loading up their wrecked cars to go home. And I have never felt so bad.
Those are bad days
for a driver as I felt
Those
for
are bad
Dinger,
days.
because he was just coming into the Cup Series in. He was just getting started, and that was
those are bad days.
Yeah,
I hated those days. I don't miss those days. Those days suck.
Yep. Well, let's move to our head-to-heads real quick. We got some big numbers here. There's a bunch of
but the problem is they're big numbers
here.
against Kyle Larson.
They're all against Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell. But what happens William Byron against Christopher Bell?
I don't dislike that one.
Don't dislike that one.
Look, if I told you the last 10 races, I gave you that a little bit earlier, William Byron is the second best point getter last 10 races. 7 top 10s, 4 top 5s, and a win. Christopher Bell, 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s. I like that one more than the rest.
Well, and the other one, Byron against Hamlin. Hamlin's only got 1 win here. It's been his greatest track.
And look, Hamlin's got a lot on his mind after the mistake, after all this stuff. Denny.
Yeah, but he's going to get tunnel vision now, I got to believe. I mean, come on, he can see a chance.
Has he ever done it years past?
Yeah, I don't know. All right, we'll be back on Gone Racing. It'll be time to get into the group matchups for this great weekend out here at fabulous Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Ready to bet smarter? Get sports betting tips straight from the South Point Hotel and Casino. I like the Commanders at 3.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
The Wise guys were all over Florida last week, and they're against Florida this week. That's not a common pattern.
I think these teams could score a lot. I would look at the over.
I'm very high on Tampa Bay. I think they can go there and they can win this game.
Subscribe for free to Sports by the Book on YouTube. Your winning edge starts now.
Welcome back into Gone Racing. Jeff Motley, Brendan Gaughan out here at fabulous Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We are on location this week for the South Point 400 here in Las Vegas. It's a rarity that we get to be out here.
Stalls are going up.
The stalls are going up right now for the Budweiser Clydesdales right beside where we're at. So if you're out here this weekend at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, come by and visit this South Point display. They're going to have driver appearances out here. There's all kinds of great stuff going on. They're right here by the Budweiser folks, and we're going to have those beautiful.
You can't miss them walking in.
No, you can't miss it. You can't miss it. It's a gigantic display up here, and we're going to have the beautiful Budweiser Clydesdales, most beautiful horses on the planet. They'll be right out here in this display. So come out here and enjoy it.
How many times you been to a Midway at the racetrack over the? You and I have been doing this, Jeff, for a long time.
I didn't get out of the infield.
Most of us never saw much of the places other than the track.
The pomp and circumstance.
But when we come to Midways, you ever seen somebody bring like the Clydesdales?
Nobody. No. Las Vegas Motor Speedway in South Point.
Look, in the South Point, we love to activate. We love our racing. Everybody knows that forever. We love our racing. We love our fans. But, I mean, look, Budweiser, us go way back, and they let us have the Clydesdales on display. You get to come out, take a picture with them, bring the kid. I mean, you get to actually still be with the Clydesdales. It's so cool, and I love that Budweiser gives us the ability. Love that my dad gives us the ability to do these sorts of things, because this is all because my dad loves racing. You know, if he didn't love it like this, we wouldn't do it.
And, Brady, he's going to kill me, but one of the guys that makes it all happen, Dave Russo is here watching our show today.
He's even behind the monitors right now, being the
I
pit
know
crew with us.
he's a director or producer.
Do you think he made picks today?
What's that?
Did he make the picks, or you think?
I don't know. He could have made the picks for the pit crew. Who knows? But
couldn't do any worse.
No. But if you come out here in the Clydesdales, it's Dave Russo makes all this stuff go out here among a million other things. Russo and I sit on the Southern Nevada Sports Hall of Fame board, and he's one of the main engines that even makes the whole thing run for our events. So
we're lucky to have him and Old Strip. Him and Stallworth. We're lucky to have them both.
Stallworth. We got a bunch of good people, but it's good to have Dave out here watching us do the show. All right, Brendan, let's move along to our group matchups. We kind of glossed over the head-to-heads, but if you want to go on our YouTube channel, all of them will be up on the screen.
Yes,
you can
they
see
will.
all the head-to-heads.
Yes, they will.
But we'll move along to Group A here, where Kyle Larson and Denny. Well, actually, hold on. We've had some betting. Some money's been put down since we got our stats here. Christopher Bell is now the favorite in this group at plus 240. Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin are plus 250. William Byron is plus 380.
Look, plus 380. Jeff, you and I talk about what is part of an oddsmaker's job. It's enticement, right? You got to balance your money. We see Christopher Bell's gone down, but you're giving me William Byron.
I'm going to bet he didn't start at 380. I think that he's
been bet. That's what I mean. Is if you get it right now, Byron's I like that Byron plus 380. It's up against Larson, which is tough. But Larson has not been as good as he was at start of the year. Denny Hamlin, I'm not as high on right now. Seabell, I love that 380.
I'm just fearful that I'm going to be very heavy on William Byron this week.
You know what? I'm thinking.
It's making me a little bit nervous. I don't know, but I'm with you. I love the Byron there at 380. I'm not sure I'm going to pick it because I've got my eye on Byron for some head-to-heads, but still, it's a great number there. All right, let's move along here to Group B. Ryan Blaney is the favorite here at plus 200. Chase Briscoe is 240. Chase Elliott 325, and Tyler Reddick 340.
That's some great numbers right there. Elliott and Reddick both. They both have a huge number. I mean, Reddick, he's got here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway 5 top 5s in the last 10 races. So he is pretty stellar here. But that Chase Briscoe that we talked about, I struggle right now to pick against Briscoe in a group. Briscoe is just – he's solid. He's locked in. He's in championship form. And, I just – something about Chase Briscoe. Chase Elliott, be careful. Chase Elliott's pretty dang tough, too. And that 325, take the Jeff Motley theory. Well, I like Briscoe, I like Elliott, but Elliott's 325. I'll take him for the better return.
My problem with Elliott is he's never run well here. Vegas has never really been a good track for Chase Elliott. He has really struggled here. So I'm not high on him at all, and Reddick has really not been that strong here either. I almost think this comes down a little bit to the Blaney and Briscoe, and I love the fact I'm getting 240 on Briscoe, and it's our weekly theory on the Martin Truex Jr. effect for Chase Briscoe. So I like Briscoe 240.
I'm with you.
That's because Elliott's numbers just aren't that good here.
Well, and I'll give them to you. 2 races a year, right? 2022, 9th. 2022, 21st. 2023, 32nd. He missed 1 race in 2023.
Because he was hurt in a skiing accident.
Then returned 12th, 33rd, and 10th. So you're right. His numbers aren't that strong. So I'm on the Chase Briscoe bandwagon right there.
I've always been perplexed by how well Larson, Bowman, and Byron have run here in Las Vegas, and Elliott has not. That those other cars. Bowman's won here, Byron's won here, Larson's won here.
Our last mile and a half, what was it? Kansas. Who won?
Well, who won? I'm with, but these tracks are different now. They used to be very similar. The banking here at Vegas has kind of changed.
They're still similar. They changed them both, but they're still similar.
Well, that's the case. Then Denny Hamlin and Bubba should be fighting for the win here. All right, let's move along to Group C, where our co-favorites are Joey Logano and Bubba Wallace at plus 260, and Ross Chastain and Alex Bowman at plus 270.
I hate to say it. This is my X group. You just brought up the point about Bubba Wallace and Denny Hamlin at Kansas. Well, here's Bubba Wallace. Joey Logano, how great I think Joey Logano is here. I might even bet Joey Logano to win this week. But I don't like it when he's up against Bubba in this group. Alex Bowman, the guy that you're not, the man you were not allowed to talk about. Alex Bowman at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 4 top 5s in the last 9 races with a win. 5th and 7th in the last 2 here. 3rd and 1st, the 2 before, this one, I like 3 of these guys, and I have to kind of throw up the X, even though I'm going to say Ross Chastain isn't in my talk, but he still is Ross Chastain and still does well here. 5 top 5s in the last 9 races, 6 top 10s, so this is just an X group for me.
Well, I'll tell you, it's not an X group for me because we've only got 1 playoff driver in Group C.
Understood, and I like that theory too.
And that playoff driver has won 4 times here.
I don't dislike that.
No one is going to drive through that tunnel this weekend with more confidence coming into this speedway than Joey Logano.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. But the spread is 260, 270. I can give you a reason why each one of them is going to run well.
The only one that gives me heartburn there is that spread. I agree with you there. All right, let's move along to Group D, where Chris Buescher is plus 200, Brad Keselowski is plus 280, and Carson Hocevar and the spring winner, Josh Berry, are both at plus 300.
Well, I'm excited. We got Chris Buescher back down into Group B. But they give me 200 on him.
Yeah, 200. And I guess the guy won this race in the spring.
Well,
a guy finished second 2 weeks ago and probably could have won if he wasn't going to take it easy on a teammate.
And Chris Buescher, man, he still just cashes tickets, baby. So I don't want to bet against Chris because I think that Chris is by far the favorite here, and it shows. But I just don't like that I'm only getting 200 on him. It's not enough for me. Josh Berry, last race winner. I just don't see that magic from Josh again. That being said, he was really good at Kansas. So if I'm going to take a shot, I take it on Josh Berry. But you're betting against Chris Buescher, and I don't like to bet against Chris Buescher.
Yeah, I get that. It's just I like Berry here. I like Josh Berry.
It's a good return.
Maybe it's just color. I'm like, what have you done to me lately? And I'm referring to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And give me 300. I like Josh Berry. All right, let's move along to Group E. Austin Cindric and Ty Gibbs are both the favorites at plus 230. Eric Jones plus 275. And Brendan, I can't believe I'm saying these words. Kyle Busch in Group E is plus 340, and I won't take it.
I was just going to say, and the worst part is, I don't want to bet it. That's and Kyle Busch here at Vegas has been just spectacular. Not a lot of wins, but he's been spectacular. To me, Ty Gibbs, you and I have been very high on Ty Gibbs, right? We thought he was going to win soon. He hasn't.
I'm stunned he does not have a Cup Series win at this point in his career.
Last 10 mile-and-a-half races. Average finish 26, 0 top 5s, 0 top 10s. I can't believe that Ty Gibbs is not that good. Eric Jones and Austin Cindric, you're gonna laugh at me. Austin Cindric has the best finishes here of this field, other than Kyle Busch history. Lately, 2 top 10s, 7 races. Austin Cindric, Penske.
Look, the Penske success here between Logano and what Brad Keselowski did when he was driving for Penske, no question about the Penske success. But don't sleep on Eric Jones here either. Eric Jones has had some good runs in Vegas.
We haven't talked about the legacy cars in a long time. And what happens when you stop talking about the legacy cars?
They start running well.
One of them pops up.
And we don't even have John Hunter in pretty much anything this week. So, all right, let's move along to Group F here, where our co-favorites are Noah Gragson and Michael McDowell at plus 260, Austin Dillon and Zane Smith at plus 270.
Michael's just been running the best out of this group. I mean, you just take the most consistent Michael. Betting against Noah at his home track, you get pretty pumped up at your home track. I mean, I've been here. I've won for when you and I were here together when I won, Trucks and West, and you and I were together here when I even qualified well in the Cup car that was to not be named. That was terrible, but I still qualified well. You get pumped up for your home race, so it's tough to go against a Noah. But I think McDowell, to me, if I was going to pick Group F, which this week, not really excited about picking Group F, it'd be it'd be Michael McDowell.
Well, the one guy I would say don't sleep on in Group F. It's also he considers this his home track too.
I got to say, I know what you're going to go with.
And he was running top 10 at Kansas before John Hunter kind of helped him get up on do a two-wheel Bo and Luke Duke style move at Kansas, and that's Zane Smith.
And look, Zane Smith has had runs this year that really make Zane look good. Zane has done some things. Those that don't know, Zane Smith, he isn't from Vegas, but a lot of Vegas ties.
Well, he raced at the Bull Ring with Riley Herbst and Noah Gragson.
That's where I was going.
Over every weekend from Southern California, where he grew up. I think if you ask Zane, now that there's not a track really in Southern California for him to race on, if you ask Zane, what's my home track, he would say, look, I spent more days at Las Vegas Motor Speedway than anywhere else.
Well, and I used to always joke and say that the West Coast was my home track, right? I used to always joke about that. Zane Smith has that
didn't
feeling.
Work when you were racing in the Winston West Series, though, because they were all in the West.
True. But when I went to Trucks, I used to say it.
Okay.
Cup.
There's a lot of West Coast truck races. Remember, they kind of started out west.
Back in the day, yeah, hell yeah. Winter Heats, baby.
Yeah,
Tucson, Bakersfield, Mesa Marin, the OG Bakersfield.
Tucson Raceway Park.
I hated that place, by the way. Tucson, let's not talk about it. Go to break. I don't like
Okay, we're going to go to break, and we'll come back, and we'll go manufacturer, and then we'll tell you how we did last week and give you our picks. We come back on Gone Racin'.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is smoke and fire. This is high stakes and wild cards. This is family and tradition. This is everything on the line. This is it. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas. The South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now. LVMS.com.
Welcome back to our final segment of Gone Racing this week. Jeff Motley, Brendan Gaughan out here at fabulous Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the South Point display out here in the fan engagement area on the Midway.
They just opened the Bud Bar.
Oh, and the Bud Bar just opened. Maybe somebody be nice enough to bring us one over for the final segment. It might really get fun then.
We don't need much help.
No, we don't need any help. It's probably kind of scary to think of us having a Bud while we were here doing this show. But we're on our final segment now, and really we got just a couple more things to go through. Our manufacturer prop is next, and what started out as Chevy being the favorite, Toyota's been bet down to the favorite now at plus 110. Chevy's plus 160, and Ford is plus 400.
But you're giving me Blaney and Logano, who we just said the best guy here is
like Busher,
and I like Chris. So I like that 400.
And a Ford one here in the spring.
That's
look, 400.
I'm looking at this going, plus 400 is a huge spread. Chevy at 160. Hold on. Chevy at 160, also an amazing number. Let's not kid ourselves. I could get a Chevy 160 and be pretty darn happy with that. But 400, that's a tough one to pass up. But 160 on Chevy is a good return too.
Yeah, I agree. I think the 160 on Chevy.
I wouldn't consider Toyota the favorite here. I'm sorry, Denny Bell, Red. We talked about him, but you're still going to put me at a 1.5-mile track against a Hendrick car and the Penske cars. I like the other two.
No, I'm with you there. All right, taking a quick look at our championship odds now. They reset now that we're down to our final 8. And Christopher Bell and Ryan Blaney are favorites at plus 400. Larson's 425. Hamlin 450. And then Elliott 700. Byron 800. Briscoe and Logano 12-1.
Okay, you missed the boat a couple weeks ago before it whittled down. Some of these guys had big numbers. But we're down with 4 races to go, Jeff. And you're going to give me Joey Logano at 12-1 still.
And Chase Briscoe, who is,
And
I know he hadn't won a championship, but
two of the guys that you and I think are probably more of the favorites to win this championship, and they're at 12-1. There's your hedge. You don't got much time left. Bet them before they go to plus 400.
No, I'm with you. And we got a couple other real quick ones, Brendan, this week, just because we're in Las Vegas. We got the winning card number to be odd or even.
So I did the counting, Jeff.
Even is plus 120. Odd is minus 140.
I did the count. Can you believe it is actually 50-50 in this field? There is actually an even number of odd and an even number of evens.
But some of the better cars are odd. That's why it's minus 140.
Well,
but you get William Byron, you get Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney. They're all in even numbers.
There is
Alex
a lot.
Bowman. I know I'm not supposed to say his name.
You're not allowed to say his name. I mean, I'm looking down. You're giving me Kyle Larson in the 5. You're giving me Denny Hamlin. You're giving me Chris Buescher, Josh Berry, the last winner, Bubba Wallace, who until we've been saying Bubba was in a championship form all year, this is a good track for him. So there's a lot of guys in those odd numbers that I do like, but the evens should be the favorite in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely an interesting one. And one other little one, and this one is really kind of a silly one. Most laps led by any driver. We have an over-under on that at 134.5. If you bet the over, it's minus 120. It's even money if you bet the under. Honestly, I think it will probably go under. I think with stage racing the way it is now and the competitiveness now, I think it will go under. I don't think one guy's over half the laps.
Kansas had a dominating race, so you did have Denny Hamlin dominate. We don't see that at Vegas often, so I would take the under on that. What was the odd on it too on the under?
It's It's on the under. It's even money.
Yeah, I bet the even money.
So anyway, it's something to have some fun with. We get a little different stuff when you're out here in Las Vegas. So if you're here this weekend for the race, go down to South Point Sportsbook. They have all kinds of cool little props. Who knows? There's probably like something to comparing it to how a football team does.
They'll have something,
like
and
that.
you can parlay it too if you want to parlay it to a game.
There'll be some fun stuff over there. All right, let's take a look at last week. And the pit crew was in the positive. Good for the pit crew again. You and I, at least we got something. We didn't get
shut out.
I had one winner last week. That was Bubba Wallace winning Group E, so didn't lose too much. You had one winner, and that was your Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher cashing tickets for you. Chris Buescher over Elliott. And both of the wins that the pit crew had were on head-to-heads. And that was Kyle Larson over Christopher Bell, and they also had Chris Buescher over William Byron. So good for them. Our season standings right now, I'm at 86.1.
Your Mendoza line, my Mendoza line, which I'm nowhere near now. I can't get it.
And I'm probably not going to bet something so big to get that now. So you're at 38.7, but pit crew's at 23.8. I mean,
they're breathing on me.
You can see them in your rearview mirror now.
I might have to start paying attention to their bets now.
All right, well, let's get into our picks for this week. We're doing a little bit earlier in the show because we want to talk a little bit about Las Vegas and being out here in our town now. I kind of say it's my hometown. I mean, Martinsville, Virginia is where I was born. I grew up there, but I've lived in Las Vegas now for
home of the Earl Ross
years.
McNugget.
What's that?
The home of the Earl Ross McNugget.
The Earl Ross McNugget, that's right. But been out here almost 27 years now, so longer than I've lived anywhere else, so this is really home to me. So we want to talk Vegas. But we'll get through our picks real quick. I've got the pit crew picks first. Second week in a row, they're picking our man Joey Logano to win. They've got 25-1 on Joey Logano to win. Then they are going with 3 head-to-heads. Ryan Blaney over Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney over Denny Hamlin, and Ryan Blaney over Christopher Bell.
They're on the Ryan Blaney do line.
They have the Ryan Blaney do line, and then their last pick is Alex Bowman in Group C. I'm not really allowed to read that one, I don't think, but that's it.
Wow. Maybe Russo did pick those.
Well, who knows? Well, if they win, he'll take credit for it then.
Well, so I'm kind of bummed. I think Ann was over my shoulder looking at my picks.
What say you?
Well, so what I say that I have the same problem I think that Ross Chastain and old Joey Logano had last weekend. I don't need to win this race, but there's no way I want the pit crew to pass me. So
are we playing defense here now?
I may have to play a little defense. So for the folks at home, to the Moosh and his fellow brethren that bet with us, I am going to take Joey Logano to win. You know why I'm going to take Joey Logano to win?
Because the pit crew took Joey Logano to win.
Right here, baby. Right here. I cannot give up a 25-1 shot and have them pass me on the season.
And that is the advantage of you being ahead of them in the standings, that you get to
That's right. Pick. That's right. Then I'm going to go to a top 3. Chase Briscoe in that top 3 to me. He's been running too well, the Martin Truex thing. I like that at plus 300. I'm taking one head-to-head. I went Byron versus Bell at plus 150. I like that Group A matchup, but you're going against Kyle Larson in there. That scares me a little too much, so I'm just taking Byron over Bell. Then I've got Cindric in Group E. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Cindric in the Penske deal, I believe he's got that. And then, Jeff, I have written down on my thing Ford at plus 400, but I think that's too big of a risk. I'm going Chevy plus 160.
All right.
I got to change my phone.
Well, I will tell you that you and I are going to agree on one pick, and we're not going to compete head-to-head on any picks.
Dang it.
So I am going to
Well, that's good. I can catch you then.
I'm taking 2 head-to-heads, and I'm all in on William Byron.
Okay.
I'm taking Byron plus 150 over Bell, like you are. I also am taking him 150 over Denny Hamlin.
Gotcha.
Like me some William Byron here. I like the Hendrick cars here. Then I'm going into Group B. I'm going Chase Briscoe. I love to ride that train. It hasn't always come into the station on time, but more often than not,
pretty good.
He's done a good job. I'm taking Logano in Group C. I like my only playoff driver that's not in a Group A or Group B. I like Joey. I know how well he's done here. And then I'm going to take Josh Berry, Group D. I feel like he can back up what he did here in the spring.
See, I'm kind of torn. I'm thinking maybe I want to take Chase Elliott in Group B because I got Briscoe for the top 3.
Are you going to change your picks after I've already written them down here?
Nah.
Sticking with them?
Let it eat.
You know how that works. If you don't really stick with your first inclination, you end up getting screwed at the end, right? All right, Brendan, we got like 3.5 minutes left, and we're out here at Las Vegas. This place has a special place in both of our hearts. I mean, this is the reason I moved to Las Vegas back in 1999, and I mean,
Look,
gosh, this has been a home away from home for you.
Born and raised here, but you and I, we made a lot of memories together in this place. I mean, I grew up racing right here. I used to yell at you. We used to actually start the Mint 400 right at basically where pit road is inside that oval. So I mean,
you lost your starting line.
Yeah, we lost the start. We used to race right across this patch where we're sitting. We actually at some point started in the old in what was called the Speedrome then, which is now the Bull Ring, and used to race right across here, across your drag strip, out into the desert. This track is so much fun. I'm amazed. We've stayed this whole time, Jeff, and didn't get one set of flyover. Right before the show started, we had a flight that looked like they were FA-22s.
Yeah, we just called. We just make a phone call, tell them don't fly over.
Yeah, well, I'd love to say we have that pull,
yeah.
but. My dad does, but not me and you. I don't think so.
No.
But, I mean, still, we're so used to the jets flying over here. We were talking about off-road. In the South Point bit, we got my dad's old pre-runner, the famous Walker Evans Dodge Ram Charger that my dad and I won the Nora 1000 in years ago. We got the coolest display. I've done this my whole life. And, yes, I'm biased because, of course, it's South Point. But, Jeff, you and I have seen activation by sponsors all the way back to Winston, right? This been around forever.
Yeah.
What we do here for the fans, in my opinion, is one of the coolest things I've ever seen activated. We give away massages out here. We get old Bill Purcell barking the whole time. The Bud Bar, the Clydesdales, it's pretty cool.
Well, look, this track opened in 1996. The first Cup race was 98, and I got here in January 99. And I will tell you, there's never been a better friend of this speedway than the South Point, the Gaughan family, and everything. I mean, no one.
We've had a lot of, but look at the fun we've done together. Look at how hard we.
You are the only guy to ever create a green mushroom cloud in the infield.
I told you.
2003, go back and watch the end of the race. Brendan wins the truck race. We had painted the infield grass
infield what? Thank you.
We painted it green to look like grass. Brendan wins and decides to do donuts and created a
question on
cloud.
that night, Mr. Motley.
What's that?
How many people showed up that night to that truck race?
Well, there was as many people still stuck on the highway. It was about 90,000 people here.
Did you guys have enough people doing concession stand stuff that night?
We didn't have enough people to do anything that night. And I have to give you credit, too. You knew that you were covered in dirt, and I was the first guy you saw when you climbed out of the truck, and you hugged me. And I don't know if you hugged me because you were happy or you hugged me just because you wanted to spread dirt all over me because you had dirt all over
Did we not have a talk about the dirt before the race?
Well, maybe a little bit.
I'm saying.
But I will tell
fun.
you.
We had a lot of fun.
My happiest victory lane I ever had here in 26 years was you winning in victory lane.
We had a lot of fun, bud.
Gosh, I'm still doing this all these years later.
Appreciate it all we've done together and appreciate what the Speedway's done for the family. But, more importantly, guys, welcome to Las Vegas. Have a great time. Go to the South Point. Stay where the racers stay. 51 teams. I checked with Sally. 51 race teams.
Oh, and if you listen to this before Friday night, Blackjack Tournament Friday night.
Blackjack Tournament Friday night. Sold out as far as teams.
I'll be playing. You're playing?
Yep, I'm playing. But,
come see us.
guys, Cool deal. Guys sign autographs for us. Great drivers. Check the list at southpoint.com.
Well, we hope we see you out here this week at South Point 400. If not, we'll be back on here next week with Gone Racing to wrap it up and talk about Talladega.